Hey, Paul here, and in this video we're going to talk about how when married people use our program to handwrite their wills, they've got some decisions to make on how they want to leave their estate to their spouse. And particularly for you folks who live in Louisiana, you've got three options. So I'm going to go through those, give you a better understanding so you can select the perfect option for you and your family. All right, so let me kind of use an example. Let's say the husband, and this is never going to apply like this, but it helps you understand the principle. Husband dies, the only asset that he has is one or more bank accounts that has $500,000 in it. That's all he's got. And we're going to disregard community property rules. He has an estate, $500,000 of cash. And he's got a decision to make as he's preparing to write his will on how he wants to leave that to his spouse. He has a spouse, he has kids. And so let's go through those three options. Option one is he leaves her ownership of his estate. Very, very simple to understand. He dies, his will said, I leave my estate to my spouse. And so after he dies, the spouse gets that $500,000. And once she gets it, she can do whatever she wants to with it. She's the owner. She can spend it, she can invest it, she can go buy a new house. She can ultimately leave it to her or their kids. She can leave it to their grandkids. She can leave it to charity. She could even leave it to another spouse if she got married again. She owns it. She can do what she wants to with it. I think you understand that. Option number two is husband says, you know what? I think I better leave my surviving spouse the usufruct of my estate. It's a Louisiana form of ownership. It's common in Louisiana. Most people out of state have never heard of it. So if he dies with a $500,000 of cash is his estate, and he left his wife the usufruct, when he wrote his will and left his wife the usufruct, he would have also named what's called naked owners. Who gets those assets when the usufruct ends? And he would have named his two children, let's say, as the naked owners. So his will, so when he dies under that scenario, he dies and then the wife gets the $500,000, but now she has an obligation to account to his children at the termination of the usufruct. Let's say in his will, he provided that her usufruct lasts for her lifetime. She gets the $500,000. She does whatever she wants to with it. Maybe she invests it, maybe she spends it, maybe she buys a house, but really doesn't matter what she does with it. Her obligation is the same. When she dies, her estate owes his two children the $500,000 that she originally inherited the usufruct of. Again, she inherited the usufruct of cash. It's what's called a consumable. So she owes the kids $500,000. Maybe she doesn't have $500,000 of cash when she dies. Maybe she has a home and some other assets. Well, her estate's going to owe his kids $500,000. They may have to sell her house to get it, but and sometimes that she doesn't even have $500,000 in her estate when she dies. Well, whatever she's got then is going to go to his kids, and her heirs will get nothing. So if he left her the usufruct of $500,000 of cash, what that means, and even if she spends some of it, her estate's going to owe his children $500,000 when she dies. That's the leaving usufruct and naming naked owners. There's one more option applicable to anybody in our country. It's where he left that in trust for his spouse. So he may have left that to the husband trust, named the wife as trustee, named the wife as what's called the income beneficiary, said the wife could use the principal for her health, education, maintenance, and support. And then when the wife died, he would have said his two children were the principal beneficiaries of that trust. And so let's say, for example, husband dies, he has $500,000 of cash, his will directs it to go to a trust for his wife and then to his kids. And under that scenario that I just described, where the wife can use or spend those assets for her needs, let's say she does spend some of it. Let's say she spends $150,000 of it. She needs it to live off of, and she dies years later with only $350,000 left in that husband trust. What do the children get? They get what's left in the husband's trust. They get that $350,000. Now, maybe if she didn't spend it and she invested it, it might have grown to $800,000 in the husband's trust when the wife died. Well, that's what his children would have received when the wife died. They would get the assets that remained in that trust. So you see a little bit difference there. I think a lot of married people like the trust option because if that surviving spouse has to spend some of it, then they don't have to account to the husband's children for the full amount that they got, only for what's left. So there's your three options. I hope that you're now starting to realize some differences between leaving ownership versus leaving usufruct versus leaving it in trust for your spouse. And now you can make a better and informed decision and get right to it, knock out what you need to knock out, get it done with understanding, and go from there. All right, we'll see you next time.